right, so here we go. Toronto and Ottawa, game one. I am looking forward to this series. So, a lot of people thinking the Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup. There's two versions of people I've noticed. People that either think the Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup or basically get swept by Ottawa. I kind of fit somewhere in between there. Now, we already know what to expect from Ottawa. I think I know what to expect from Ottawa. And if they're smart, they will play the Leafs exactly the way that they would play the Panthers, which is hard and heavy, and try to give as little space as possible. It's one of the reasons why, as a Panther fan, I wasn't interested in playing Ottawa, because I know how physical those series can be. Now, we know Toronto has made big strides in becoming more physical this year. Not many people talking about that, and I guess that's because you still have to prove that you can do that in the playoffs and win, and that's fine. But what I want to see tonight is, Toronto's going to come out, right? Home ice, they got the whole thing, they won the division, they're all excited. They're going to come out with a ton of energy. How long is it going to take for Ottawa to figure out the game that they want to play? How far ahead is Toronto going to be by the time Ottawa figures that out? And how Stolar is going to react. We know he's had Vezina caliber numbers last year and this year especially, but now he's entering the playoffs as a starter and the guy with the expectations for the first time. So if he's a little bit nervous, but then again, Omar's playoff performances in the past, you may as well have me in the net. So, what do we want to see tonight? Let's just start off with a banger, like 2-3 overtimes. Let's just start off right there. In terms of which team I would like to win this series, I've picked Toronto. I'm kind of rooting for Toronto because, as Panther fan, if we make it to the second round, I'm not all that interested in the whole Brady versus Matthew thing, because while I know Toronto's a bigger and more physical team right now, it just gets to a different level when those two brothers are on the ice facing each other. We've seen some Panthers and Ottawa games, and I'm not interested in 7 games of that, because even if the Panthers were to survive that, which I think they would, we'd probably end up with like 2 or 3 guys getting hurt. So I'd rather play Toronto. We knew that. We know them. We're a little bit more comfortable with them. But I'd rather face Ullmark than Stolarz. So there's that. All right, let's move on and see how this goes. All right, so 2-1 Toronto after 1. What a period of play that was. So Toronto comes out just like we're expected, just flying, hitting everything that moves. And took Ottawa a couple of minutes to realize that they were in a playoff hockey game. And so you get OEL just comes in, just completely left alone in the middle of the ice, blast one past Ullmark. Then Marner on a breakaway, and it's 2-0, and it's 2-0 on 3 shots. And you're thinking, uh-oh. And it was starting to look really, really ugly. And all of a sudden, Ottawa gets just one shift in the zone. Stolarz gives up a rebound. Ottawa recollects, comes back around, another shot. Stolarz kind of fumbled the puck a little bit. Batherson locks it in, and it's 2-1. And that, let's just put it this way. When it was 2-0, the Leafs fans start yelling, "Brady sucks." And I get it. You're at home. You want to have a good time and all of that. But maybe you might want to have not done that, right? I mean, that's just not... I get it. You want to have fun. That's cool. But is that really the time and place and guy that you want to antagonize? In that moment, because if you're a Leaf fan, you have to know your team was going to come out, like crazy, and it's 2-0. It's perfect. And Toronto was this close to putting the game away. And now, Ottawa's awake. They're hitting people. It's 2-1. It should be good. Let's move on to the second. So, 4-1 Toronto after 2. Now, keep in mind, I'm rooting for Toronto, and I'm not a big bitcher out the refs guy. My thing in the playoffs, though, is just let them play. And so Toronto's got 2 power play goals in this period. They just ended the period. They're going to be on another power play. Ottawa is just crumbling under the pressure, and Ullmark is looking like himself in the playoffs. What I mean is, if you look at his playoff statistics, it's not good. So the first penalty, totally, completely agree with. You can't cross-check a dude in the neck. I kind of thought that was going to stay a 5. We were pretty shocked when they reduced it back to 2. Then they get the second penalty, and let's just say it was weak. To get a 5-on-3 in the playoffs, That was a weak call. Of course, then the let Nylander just take all the room he wants in front of the ice. And more than the penalties, it's really just Ottawa's defense. They're not being physical. I don't know what they're doing out there, but Toronto is just owning the middle of the ice. Now, you give the Leafs credit. They've worked on that, and they're playing well. And I'm not saying that they're not, but there were some instances there in that second period where Toronto is just getting the puck and just sliding into the middle of the ice between the circles, and Ottawa is just like, go ahead, man, that's cool. Do what you want. Take a shot. I mean, they're just letting them. There's no physicality. And same thing on the opposite end of the ice. Stolarz is giving a few rebounds up, but Toronto's just clearing the puck because Ottawa is staying to the outside, and Toronto's just absolutely owning the front of the net right now. And while they have been high-quality shots, Ullmark needs to save one of them, okay? The one from Nylander, I mean, he's able to get right in front of Ullmark, basically right between the circles, so I get it. It's a hard shot to stop, but Ullmark's not close, and he's leaving a few too many rebounds on the ice. So, kind of wanted a good game, but I don't think that's what's fixing to happen. This looks like it's going to be a 6 or 7-2 type of thing. Let's finish this up. So, 6-2 Toronto, and it wasn't that close. The game was not that close. Now, before I get into the game, genuine question. Opinions, if anybody has an actual answer to this question, I'd love to know. Why are refs so stupid? How come sometimes the guys could just fight to their heart's content, and then other times the refs act like the third party in the WWE freaking wrestling match and get in between the players? Like, Domi is getting ready to rock this dude. We're going to have a hell of a fight here in the last minute of the game. And the refs are doing all that they can to stop the fights from happening. I don't understand. Is there some made-up rule, or is it just supposed to be some kind of judgment call that the refs can or should or shouldn't? What's the deal there? We wanted to see a fight, and the bottom line with them not allowing the fight is that it's just going to carry over into game two. They're just going to find a way to settle it on the ice, and I'd rather see guys fight than start taking cheap shots. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand that, never have. If dudes want to fight, let them fight. Fight for fighting. You're off the ice, and it's done and it's over with. Now, that said, Ottawa, what in the living hell was that? Now, I don't watch a lot of Ottawa Senators hockey, so maybe they just play that special brand of hockey when they're playing the Panthers and Matthew Tkachuk. But that was, I was going to say there was dog shit on ice, but it would be an insult to dog shit, because they were just about as undisciplined as Jim Carrey and a liar. It just was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And what I said in my series preview tonight laid out there on the ice. And what I said was Toronto was going to finally be the beneficiary of experience because they're playing an Ottawa team that hasn't made the playoffs since I had hair. And sure enough, self-implosion. I think that's what you would call what the Senators did tonight. Now, it was only one game. And let's give Toronto credit. They played well. Now, I do have a question. Now, Stolarz made some spectacular saves tonight. No doubt. And I'm not doubting Stolarz. You guys know he was with the Panthers last year. I've seen what he can do. That said, when Stolarz came to Florida, what his issue was rebound control. We worked on it, fixed it, and he's the guy that you Leaf fans see now. Now, tonight, he wasn't exactly giving up no rebounds. There was definitely some juicy rebounds to be had, but Ottawa was nowhere to be seen because Toronto was owning the front of the net, and Ottawa was just not willing to do the dirty work that needs to be done. But why I'm so surprised about that is because when they play Florida, they do the dirty work. They have been extraordinarily physical when they've played the Panthers. That's when I've watched them. And that team on the ice tonight, that's not the team that I've seen play the Panthers all this last few years. You all know everybody on the ice was ejected. Well, there was reasons for that. So I don't know if it was inexperience, nerves, whatever it was. Ottawa was definitely had a few opportunities go by the wayside with bad passes. Toronto looked like not just the better team, the more experienced team. They were calm, cool, and collected in the moments that they needed to do. Ottawa comes out, makes it 4-2, and you think in the third period, thinking, all right, maybe, and what, like 40 seconds left, just an absolute, was it Highmore? Riley takes a shot from practically the blue line, and Highmore gets in between the shot and Ullmark, and is like coming across and like trying to block the shot, goes off his glove, and gets past Ullmark. Can't completely blame him. However, Ullmark was not exactly ass tonight, but like armpit. I think that's what it wasn't all his fault, right? Like, it's not the armpit's fault that it stinks. Put some deodorant on. Ullmark was not good tonight. He didn't do anything to help his team win. And if he plays like that in Game 2, what's the harm of putting Forsberg out there in Game 3? It can't get worse. It was like 6 goals on 20-something shots. It was bad. I think a crash dummy would have been better at net tonight. The other part to that is the penalty kill for the Senators. At least twice, Toronto scored within 5-10 seconds of the power play starting. It was just awful. It was absolutely awful. But it's one game. It's one game. So you hear the Leafs fans, Brady sucks. Okay, they were screaming, Ullmark. I agree with that one. I totally agree with that one. Ullmark was bad. The Brady sucks one, but it's not like Ottawa started making you guys pay for that. So if you're going to allow the team's home fans to yell, your captain sucks, and not really fight back, they're going to keep yelling that your captain sucks. So we'll see what happens Game 2. Unfortunately, the league, in its grand brilliance, scheduled the Panthers and Leafs basically at the same time on Tuesday, so we won't be able to see both games. Now, Panther game starts at 8:30, so I assume that means the Toronto game starts earlier, which means we won't even be able to see the ending of the Toronto game after the Panther game. So maybe what we'll do is we'll start the stream when Toronto starts playing, and then bump into the Panther game when we start. Maybe that's what we'll do. Disappointed. I was very much looking forward to seeing every game in this series. And while Saturday we'll be able to do that because Panthers play at 1, Toronto plays 7:30, I believe. Game 2, that was a mistake, NHL. That was just stupid. The schedule, there's a lot of crossover between the fan bases. That was just dumb. So, other than that, if this continues, it's going to be a sweep anyway. Because, Ottawa did not display anything that makes me think they can win a game. Can they keep a game within reach? If they stay out of the box and stop doing stupid shit, maybe. But again, Ullmark's playoff record is what it is, right? It's like 880 or something like that. It's bad. And tonight was worse. And not every goal is his fault, right? It's a team sport. But you need your dude to make some kind of spectacular saves. As an example, it's 2-1 Toronto. Here comes Brady Tkachuk on a breakaway. It would have tied the game 2-2. Stolar stones him. I know it's Brady Tkachuk. It's not Connor McDavid. But you still have to make the stops. And Ullmark made none of them tonight. So, all right. That's going to do it. Tomorrow's Monday. I'll be live at noon. Now, the members' podcasts, we're going to have them this week. But they're going to be timed a little bit different, because I'm going to try to go fishing during most of the members' podcasts this week, which means I got to go out there, record, come home, edit it all up. So the podcasts, I would look for those closer to the middle, to the end of the day, rather than in the morning. If I'm not going to go fishing, I'll have them out in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. But we're going to be in the 70s almost every day this week. So I'm going fishing because the big bass are out there. So I want to see if we can at least catch one jumping on camera. That's all I'm interested in. I don't want to catch them because they're spawning. I'm fishing for catfish and carp. But if I can catch one of those suckers, because they will usually troll me and jump right where they're like right in front of me. So if I can catch one on camera, then we can freeze frame it and try to guess how much it weighs. Because there's nothing to see a 5-pound bass jump out here. They all come in to spawn. So let's see if we can get one on camera. All right. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow at noon. And then we'll be live tomorrow night for Caps and Canadiens. Go Habs.